Well, you'll have to help me find that later on.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to do a needs analysis. As a team leader, one of the things that I do when meeting with real estate agents, especially agents who are in production, experienced, have history, which means they have challenges. These are some of the questions that I would ask them. And what I did is I took pages 83 through 100 in Shift, and I turned it into a needs analysis. So we're going to have a little bit of fun today. We're going to do something just a little bit different. And this is an appointment with an experienced agent. That's all of you. You raise your hand if you're in the room or on Zoom, and let's move quickly. So if you're going to participate, put your hand in the air. Otherwise, I'll participate for both parties. I'm good at that. And we're going to just have a conversation. So the first question is, when speaking with a potential buyer or seller, who decides if an appointment is scheduled?
We do.
You do. Yes. You know, it's interesting because most real estate agents would tell you the buyer or seller decides. Matter of fact, here's what Gary has to say on the subject. Many agents assume that a prospect will determine if they meet or not, but actually it will be you. Either your ability, super important, guys, write that down, write that down, write that down. Either your ability will cause a meeting to take place, or your lack of ability will prevent it from taking place. So you determine if a meeting happens or not, and it's based on your ability, your skill. And we're talking about lead conversion. We're not talking about lead generation. This is a lead conversion conversation. Gary goes on to say, this isn't a game of chance, but a game of scripts and systems. Scripts ensure that you say effectively what needs to be said in the most powerful way with the least amount of effort. Because it's a conversation that you've practiced and internalized, you don't have to be a master of making things up as you go. Likewise, systems ensure that you are taking the right action at the right time with the least amount of effort. So the next question I have for you is, what systems are you using in order to convert buyer and seller leads to signed agreements? Think of a system that you're currently using. And, you know, the fact that there's silence here and I don't have any hands in the air means it's a good question, right? If I'm sitting on a recruiting appointment, for example, and the person I'm speaking to takes time to answer the question, it means it's a good question. What systems are you using? Michael, give me an example of a system that you're using to convert a conversation to an appointment, or a system that you're using to convert an appointment to a signed agreement. Scripts. Great.
What other system is there?
Well, let me give you a few. A buyer consultation is a system. Right? Now, I had the advantage of preparing for this conversation. So if I'm getting answers that you're not, don't feel bad, okay? Just take notes.
Buyer consultation ultimately is a script.
And it's a script. Your pre-qualification questions are a system. When you call the seller ahead of time to do a soft interview, it's a system. Matter of fact, it's a system that I would skip often when I was a real estate agent. And every time I skipped it, I regretted it. In other words, I didn't do as well on that listing appointment as I would have had I done the pre-qualification questions ahead of time. Needs analysis is a system. Pricing, needs, and trial, prioritizing needs and trial close is a system. In other words, Jonathan, you shared 3 goals with me, and if we can crush one of these goals and barely miss the other 2, what's number 1?
Beyond 30 days.
Yeah, be out of your home in 30 days. And if we could accomplish two goals, what's the second goal? What's the third goal? And if I could show you that I'm the right agent for the job in order to achieve these goals that you shared with me, are you ready to get started today?
Yes.
Cool. Let's get started. And if he says no, it's still cool. Let's get started. It's just a trial close. It lets me know where he's at. My 14-point listing presentation is a system. My conduct a consultative interview versus selling and telling is a system. All right. Use supply and demand to discover pricing strategy. It's a system. Next question I have for you is, how do buyers and sellers determine if they are going to hire you? Boy, you guys know the answer to this question, right? I've told
Value
you.
prop.
I told value proposition. Good job. And I've given you three answers many times. Vicki, talk to me. How do
Do they
buyers?
trust me?
What's this? Give me three.
I know what it is.
Buyer consultation, seller's
Okay.
consultation.
How do buyers and sellers determine if they are going to hire you? By the way, if I'm sitting on an appointment, I'm talking to an agent, there's no right or wrong answers, by the way, guys. There's not. Now, I have three things that I'm looking for. And if I'm sitting on a recruiting appointment, I'm just taking notes. Okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? What does that look like to you? Now, once they've shared their answer with me, my response would be, can I share what I believe are the three reasons or the three things that a buyer or seller is basing their decision on? And then I'm going to share my answer. Okay. Aaron Coddington, talk to me.
I was just going to say the three things. It was, can I trust you? Do you know what you're doing? And I forget.
Care.
And do you care about me?
There it is. Okay, so in my appointment with you, Madeline, I would simply say, Madeline, those are great answers. And can I share with you what I believe are the three things that will determine if a buyer or seller hires you? Yeah, so to me, the buyer and seller is asking themselves three questions. And those three questions are, do you care about me? Can I trust you? And do you know what you're doing? Now, all I'm trying to do is get you to think. My goal in that appointment with somebody who's not used to these conversations is just to get, means they're thinking, that's interesting. Hadn't thought about it that way. Now, the next question would be, does your listing consultation, does your buyer consultation answer those three questions? Can I trust you? Do you care about me? Do you know what you're doing? And give me an example. Tell me how it's accomplishing those goals. Again, if they get quiet, if you get quiet, that means I've asked a good question. I don't know the answer to that question. Fair enough. Ultimately, the key to success in setting appointments boils down to two things. Write it down. Here it comes. Knowing what to say, then knowing what to do. Knowing what to say, and then knowing what to do. Knowing what to say is scripts, right? And knowing what to do is systems. You're in the sales business, and that means you only get paid when someone buys or sells something. Write down, I am in the sales business, and I only get paid when someone buys or sells something. Now, what are you selling? Yourself. Okay, good answer. What else? Homes. Okay, what else?
Trust. Gotta make people trust you, right?
Trust. Okay. What else?
That you're the right person for the job.
You're the right person for the job. Okay.
Experience.
Experience. Okay. Can I share with you the two reasons Gary Keller gives us, or the two reasons that I would give you? These are the two things that you're selling. You're selling service and information. You're selling service and information. So the next question is, what's the definition of a lead to you? Come on, guys, you know this one.
Anybody who's looking to buy or sell their house in their lifetime.
Okay, anybody who's looking to buy or sell a home in their lifetime, Michael Topo says. I like that answer.
Ready, willing, and able.
Ready, willing, and able. I like that answer. What's the
All of
definition?
that, and someone who gives you their contact information, email, phone number.
Yep, there you go, Vicky. A lead means you've gotten their name, their phone number, their email address, and their mailing address. Otherwise, it's just a contact. If somebody visits you at the open house and you have a conversation with them, it's not a lead until you've captured all of their contact information. Next question. What obstacles are you facing with converting leads to appointments?
They may not be ready, willing, and able.
Not ready, willing, and able. Okay. What's the solution for someone who's not ready, willing, and able? And this is a great obstacle, right? This is what's stopping most of us. This is what's stopping most of you. The question again is, what obstacles are you facing with converting leads to appointments? And they're not ready, willing, and able is a great answer. Madeline, mindset is a great answer as well. If your mindset is not right, if you don't believe that you're the right agent for the job, well, then you're starting out with a huge obstacle to getting the appointments. 90% of success is mindset. So I have to believe, Noah, that I'm the right agent for the job. I have to believe that I bring so much value to you. Remember what you're selling. You're selling service and information. I am the local economist of choice. I am a strategic pricing professional. I am a master marketing specialist. Now, the answer to they're not ready, willing, and able, what's the solution? Because when we have obstacles, we're looking for solutions. It's two words. It starts with an F.
Follow up forever.
Follow up forever. And it's this. Follow up in order to create emotional proximity, which means I'm going to follow up once a week for the first month. And then I'm going to follow up once a month until we get to the point where they're serious about selling their home. This might be another 3 or 4 months. It might be 6 months. It might be a year. It might be 3 years. Longest period of time it took me with any one seller was 3 years and 89 contacts before they got to, okay, John, I'm ready to list my house. Come on over. So if that's an obstacle, here's a solution. Okay. You guys are doing great. What systems are you using to turn contacts into leads? Think of you're at an open house. How are you turning a contact? I'm walking in the door. And Vicky, you're welcoming me to your open house. In other words, hi, my name is Vicky. Thank you for visiting our open house. Can I ask your name? My name is John. Okay. Now, what systems are you using to turn that contact into a lead? Remember, I'm a lead when you've got my name, my email address, my phone number, and my mailing address. I call on a listing. Shirley, I'm calling you about your property at 123 Main Street. And your question would be, how can I help you? And I share, what's the price? Now, how are you going to turn that into a lead? Your circle
Capture their
prospect.
information.
Just
Capture their
ask.
information. Just
How do you
ask
do-
for their information. If
Okay,
they're
good.
walking in the door at an open house, I'm just asking them to sign in and then let me know, do they have representation? Do they have someone they're working with? If not, then the conversation ensues. And even if they do and they're still not with someone, I still continue. Because if they're not walking in with a representative, I'm still having the conversation and handing my card and capturing their information by having them sign in everything.
Love everything you said. If I can give you a suggestion, let me just add, don't give them your
Please.
business card until you've captured all of their information. Because if you give me your
100%.
business, right? If you give me your business card and then you ask me for my contact information, my answer is going to be, I'll just call you. All right.
That's
So-
why I love that Blink card, because you can put their phone number in and then you have the conversation. Oh, what is that? And then you talk about it and then you grab their email while they're like totally distracted.
Okay, so that's a system. That's exactly what I was looking for. The question was, what systems are you using to turn contacts into leads? Vicky, talk to us. Tell me what that system is again.
It's the Blink card, and actually Michael Trelongo showed it to me, and it's just an app on your phone, and you just, you talk to them and say, oh, I'd love to, share my information, my contact information with you. Can I grab your phone number? And then you send them that information and they're like, oh, that's so interesting. What's that? And then while they're chatting about what it is, you're grabbing more information. It's like a child. You have to distract
So if I
them
wanted-
to get more information.
If I wanted to load this app onto my phone, I would simply go to the App Store and I would search for that app and I would download it. Yes?
Yes, it's called Blink, BLINQ. Let me look real quick.
Can you put it in the chat, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Megan, talk to me. What systems are you using to turn contacts into leads?
So I use, if we're talking like if we're going back to open houses or anything like that, and or
Okay.
if somebody calls me about a property, I use Tara Carter's system. I typically have the seller disclosure and feature list and things like that in a Google Drive. And then instead of just having it out and giving them a piece of paper at an open house, I ask them, what is your phone number and or email address, so that I can send you this Google Drive that has all the information about the house. So that way I then have their name, their phone number, and at minimum, their email address.
Love it. Thank you for that. Really good stuff. And what I heard from both Vicky and from Megan is a system is something as simple as, in addition to the tools they shared, they also shared, my name is John. Can I ask your name? Oh, I'm Michael. I'm playing both parts. Cool, right? John Dietz. Michael, can I get your last name? Topo. Cool. So before you leave, Michael, I'd love to get your contact information. Hey, by the way, I'm assuming you're here today because you're in the market to buy a home. Now, he's going to say yes, no, or I live in the neighborhood and I'm just curious. Oh, so you're interested in selling your home. If I could give you some contact information, or if I could give you an updated market analysis on your neighborhood, since I've already done that, what would be a great email address for me to send that to? Hey, if I needed to follow up with you, what's a good phone number for me to call? By the way, what's your address so I can do a market analysis on your home? I'm simply asking. So many of you are not asking because you have a limiting belief that you're being pushy. So let's eliminate that. That's an obstacle, by the way. It's a limiting belief that you're being pushy by asking them for their contact information. You have a right to ask. You're providing service and you're providing information. How can you do that if you don't have contact information to provide that to? So you have a right to ask. All right, the next question is, once you've captured the contact's name, phone number, mailing address, email, the next step is to connect. What does connect look like to you? What does it mean to you?
Text them, call them, reach out, say it was such a pleasure to meet you, and let me know if you have any questions. I'm here. I'd love to provide you with anything that you may need going forward.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Go ahead.
Ford, just always
Ford.
Ford.
Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Good
Love it, Megan. I love
Good job.
that. Exactly.
You guys are doing great. I hope you guys are taking notes because you're getting lots of good information. Here's what Gary has to say in Shift. The fundamental theme of connecting is curiosity. It's curiosity to know who someone is, to understand their wants and needs, and to become aware of their worries and concerns. He actually shares 6 connection questions. Good stuff. Look it up, write it down. Here they are. Who are they? What do they want or need to do? Where do they want or need to do it? Why do they want or need to do it? When do they want or need to do it? And how do they plan to do it? Now, if you look in pages between 96 and 97, he actually gives you 6 really good examples. There are actually 6 really good connection scripts. So go to pages 96 through 97 and just write down everything he shares with you, because there it is. Those are your connection scripts. All right, next question. What are your thoughts, potential limiting beliefs on using scripts in lead generation and lead conversion conversations? So what are your thoughts, potentially limiting beliefs in using scripts in lead generation and lead conversion conversations? In other words, oh my gosh, you guys are going to die laughing. Now my battery is low. Madeline, would you go grab it? It plugs in behind my desk. So you have to reach down, grab that, and run before it dies. Hilarious. Oh my gosh. Okay. What are your thoughts around using scripts? Sounds robotic. Fake?
Salesy.
I thought it just
Salesy?
sounded like exactly salesy. And I just never in the beginning was like, oh, I'm not going to do this. But if you don't know those scripts, you are going to mess up every time.
Yeah. And here's the interesting thing, guys. The interesting thing about scripts is that they are observed one way and experienced another. In other words, all of you are experiencing scripts one way, and your customers, your buyers and sellers are experiencing them another way. When you read them or role play them, they can feel stilted and repetitive. But when received, they can feel warm, sincere, and natural. Interesting, right? Right. Goes here, and that goes in that plug right over there.
Where's your coffee?
Right? That's why it's there. You're the best. All right, let me say this one more time. The interesting thing about scripts is that they can be observed one way and experienced another way. When you read them or role play them, they can feel stilted and repetitive, but when received, they feel warm, sincere, and natural. In other words, change the way you look at things you look at change. Scripts work. They work really, really well. And when you've actually internalized them, it's not robotic, it's a conversation. My listing presentation is a script. Thank you for meeting with me today. It's always an honor and a privilege to sit down and discuss the possibility of the deeds team representing someone in the sale of their home. Okay, Laura, I'd like to start by sharing my mission statement with you. My mission is to meet your goals and exceed your expectations. Now, because of that mission statement, whenever I meet with a potential seller, one of 3 things usually happens. One of those 3 things will probably happen today. Either number 1, they understand and appreciate the benefits that I have to offer and they hire me, which is great. Or the second thing that occasionally happens is they don't hire me, and that's not so great. And then the third thing that happens every so often is I may choose not to list their home. Now, do I sound robotic?
No.
If you didn't know any better, would you know that that's a script? Or would you think I'm just having a conversation with you? Now, you may think I'm having a conversation with you that I've had many, many times, but you wouldn't know word for word it's a script. All right. Last question. How do you close for an appointment?
Say two or
Are
tomorrow.
you ready to get started?
Are you ready to get started? Is today at 2 o'clock good? Where 3 be better for you? Great. Those are.
Will you put
Go
me to
ahead.
work?
Can you put me to work? Give me some more.
I'll be there at 3.
I'll be there at 3. Okay.
Let's
The
get
right
photos
approach-
scheduled.
Say it again.
Let's get photos scheduled.
Let's get photos scheduled. The right approach to close for a meeting is just ask. You know, after sitting down and meeting with you today, Victoria, and looking at your home, I really believe that it might be the right time for you to hire a professional like me. And I'd love to sit down at least for 30 minutes with you and share with you what I could do to get your home sold for more money and less time. Would tomorrow at 4 work for you, or would 5 be better? What's wrong with that? Right? Just ask. Gary says the right approach to close for a meeting is just ask. Ask to meet, ask when to meet, ask where to meet, ask if you should, could, want, or must meet. Nothing is going to happen if you don't ask. Really good book called The Aladdin Factor. I think Mark Victor Hansen. Did I get that name right? I may be combining 2 authors. I do that sometimes. And just look up, Google The Aladdin Factor. Okay, great book. And the idea behind this book is we don't get because we don't ask. Let me give you a couple of examples. So if you go to a hotel, Scott Bagoon got into a Keller Williams class using this, by the way. I shared it with him and he says, wow, I'm going to use that. If you go to a hotel and the hotel says we're booked, I want you to ask, just curious, if the president of the United States, no political comments, don't. I know some of you don't. If the president of the United States showed up today and asked for a room, would you have a room for the president? They're going to say yes. I want you to follow that up with, the president's not coming, so I'll take his room.
That's classic.
Right? Now, Scott Bagoon used that for a class that was being taught by Keller Williams Realty International that was sold out. And I said, Scott, here's what you do. Walk in and ask, if Gary Keller walked in the door, would you have a seat for Gary Keller? They're going to say, yes, of course we would. Then follow it up with, I promise you, Gary Keller's not coming, so I'll take his seat. And he got in. When you fly, ask for a free upgrade to first class. You'd be shocked how many times you're going to get it. And you're not getting it because you're not asking. When somebody tells you that it's a 2-hour wait, ask, is there any condition under which it wouldn't be a 2-hour wait? I don't know. Ask. How? Okay, you get the point. You're not getting because you're not asking.
Well, I've got an answer for the 2-hour wait.
Go for it.
It's just a trick that I've learned over the years.
Yeah, tell us.
Go to a restaurant, they say they have an hour wait, 2-hour wait. Just go right up to the hostess, slide them a 20. How long it is that?
All right, so Michael's answer for all of you on Zoom is just bribe your way in and that works, right? Okay, yeah. Yeah, and Noah's confirmed that it works. All right, talk to me.
Y'all need to ask Tara Carter about her pizza story one day, okay?
There you go.
Just ask Tara about her pizza story and it works.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right, give me some feedback. Tell me what you heard today.
Right.
Yeah. Come on, you got more than that. Michelle, talk to us.